Hey everybody, welcome to Music with Todd Ledbetter. Thank you so much for being here today. I appreciate you joining me. Hey, we're going to check out some Queen. And yes, I'm a big Queen fan. I was a big Queen fan as a kid, and I had albums, probably like four of their albums, if I remember correctly, back in the day. I don't know, probably starting when I was probably around 12, 13 years old. um, I had got News of the World, I think is when I pretty much got into Queen. And then I kind of bought some of their back catalog, A Day at the Races and A Night at the Opera. And then at that point, which I really, by that time, I fell in love with Queen. And then I started buying their upcoming albums, and I bought Jazz, which I really liked quite a bit. That had the Fat Bottom Girls and Bicycle Races, Let Me Entertain You, Dead on Time, Dreamer's Ball. It just had Don't Stop Me Now. Just so many cool songs. And then I bought The Game, which was also a great album. That had the big hit Crazy Little Thing Called Love. And my favorite, Dragon Attack, is one of my favorite. It also had the big, huge hit, another one, Bites the Dust. But I just love Dragon Attack. So at that point, I kind of dropped off. They came out with Flash Gordon, Hot Space, The Works, A Kind of Magic, The Miracle, Innuendo. And I just, wasn't that into what they were doing really particularly at that time. Some of the songs that came out back then I really didn't like, but have grown, like Radio Gaga. That song has grown on me over time, especially seeing them play it live. Made a difference for me. But it was those like 4 or 5 albums, basically 5 albums: Night at the Races, Night at the Opera, Day at the Races, News of the World, Jazz, and The Game. Those were my albums. But that's not to say that I hadn't heard more songs from them. And today we're going to listen to one of their earlier albums, Sheer Heart Attack. Not the whole thing, but we're going to listen to 3 songs that were recommended that we listened to in a row. And that's from the album Sheer Heart Attack from 1974. I have heard a couple of these songs, like Brighton Rock I've heard, and Killer Queen, of course, I've heard. I think I've heard Now I'm Here. Is that the one that goes, Now I'm Here? Something like that. Stone Cold Crazy, I think I've heard. But that's it. I don't remember ever hearing Tenement Fundraiser, Flick of the Wrist, Lily of the Valley. Don't remember if I've heard any of those at all. I don't think I have. It's possible, but like I said, I was a real intense Queen fan to a certain point, and then it just, the earlier stuff was a little different to me than what, I was hearing from News of the World, and then as I backed up a couple albums, Day at the Races, Night at the Opera, those were still close enough in their creativity and their sound. Sounded like the Queen that I liked on News of the World. But the other stuff didn't hit me at the time. So all that to say, we're going to listen to some Queen. Even though I'm a big fan of them, there's just some things that I hadn't heard before. And this is pretty sure one of those things. Let me make sure I got this going on right. I don't think I do. Here we go. All right, so let's get into it. Let's see what these songs are. These were recommended by a viewer here on the channel, which I really appreciate all your recommendations, you guys. Thank you so much. So let's go ahead and get into it right now. I'll let you know if I've heard them before. So far, I'm going to say no. Been amazing to people next door. That doesn't sound like Freddie, though. That sounds like Roger. Been enraging
the folks on the low floor. I got away with the girls on my block, trying my best to be a real individual. And when we go down to Smokies and Rock,
Definitely Roger.
like it's some kind of ritual. Ooh, give me a good guitar, and you could say that my hair's a disgrace. Oh, just find me an open car, I'll make the speed of light out of this place. I like the good things in life, but most of the best things ain't free. So the same situation just cuts like a knife when you're young and you're bold and you're crazy. Give me a good guitar, and you could say that my hair's a disgrace. Oh, just find me an open car, I'll make the speed of light out of this place. Dislocate your spine if you don't sign, he says. I'll have you see it double.
Sounds like it transitioned into Flick of the Wrist.
Mesmerize you when he's tongue-tied, simply with those
That's definitely Freddie.
synchronize your minds and see the beast within him rise. Don't look back, don't look back. It's a rip-off. Think of the wrist. It's your dead, baby. Blow him a kiss. It's your man. Think of the wrist. He'll eat your heart out. Dig in the wrist. And then a kick in the head. He's taking an arm and taking a leg. All this time, honey. Baby, you've been had. Intoxicate your brain with reaching high and low. But why does everybody tell me no? Neptune of the seas, an answer for me, please. The lily of the valley doesn't grow. I lie in wait with open eyes. I carry on through stormy skies. I follow every course, my kingdom for a horse. But each time I grow wild, serpent of the Nile, relieve me for a while and cast me from your spell. Let me go, messenger from seven seas has flown. Is the time enough for me, please? For the lily of the valley doesn't
Cool. Interesting. So, like I said, I did get into this album, and I was thinking about it as I listened to these songs because, yeah, there's a lot of Queen in that, that the Queen that I knew, but when I heard Killer Queen and Brighton Rock, I didn't really like those songs. And I can't even really remember Brighton Rock off my top of my head. Killer Queen, I remember. I just remember it was a lot harder rock. I love it now. I love it now. Years later, it took me. I mean, I didn't just now start loving it, but it took me, a number of years to appreciate Killer Queen, and I think I heard, like I said, Stone Cold Crazy too. But that also, if it's the same song, let's just see what it is. Stone Cold Crazy, something like that. Yeah, that didn't, like, I don't know, resonate with me as like the Queen sound that I was used to. But as it happens, and I've talked about this with other bands, like say David Bowie, for example, where I just only knew the hits. At least with Queen, I bought their albums too, 5 of them, and I'm very, very familiar with those 5 albums, and they're some of the best albums of all time in my musical history, that I've ever had. I love that time of Queen. But like the Tenement Fundraiser sounded a little bit like I'm in love with my car. Obviously Rogers sang both. He also talked about a car and Tenement Fundraiser. No, Funster, Tenement Funster, not Fundraiser. Yeah, I need money for rent. Let's do some fundraising. Tenement, not tenant, Tenement Funster. I don't even know what that means. I better look it up. It kind of gave me a little bit of, I'm in love with my car vibes. Flick of the Wrist, definitely more, with Freddie, you can hear, more of that Brian May influence, really cool guitar lines and guitar solos, and the way he approaches his guitar, and the really his signature sound is there, as he even as early as this album was. He developed and expanded on that sound, but it still was like his sort of signature sound, even though he really honed that in. And then, of course, Lily of the Valley was very reminiscent of songs you would find on Night at the Opera or Day at the Races. Some of those sort of almost not quite as burlesque or sort of, I don't know what you call it, 20s ish or 30s ish music, 40s, I'm not sure what, but sort of that burlesque style that they were some great songs in that style that they did on those 5 albums I listened to. So to my detriment, not listening to the whole album and giving it an opportunity, I miss out on the connection, the Queen connection, this being such an early album. Looks like it's basically their third album. In 1974, they released Queen 2 and Sheer Heart Attack, and Queen, just their first album, was 73. 75 was Night at the Opera, 76 Day at the Races, and then 77 News of the World, 78 Jazz, 79 Killer, Live Killers, and then 80 was The Game. And that's where I fell off. Flash Gordon, I didn't like. Hot Space, I didn't like. Let's see. I don't even... Under Pressure, Hot Space. Oh, Under Pressure came off of Hot Space. Okay, so we all know that song. That's kind of a classic. So the interesting that such a classic song came off that album. It's just had, I don't know if you guys go through that too, where you just sort of, if you don't like a couple of songs, it's the point that you hear it in your life, then you don't listen to the rest of the album to see what else is there. And that was to my detriment, of course. Not that I really loved those 3 songs I just heard. I didn't think they were extremely awesome, but you can hear Queen in there, and like I said, you can hear sort of Roger's influence, and then Brian May's guitar work there, and the sort of stylings of Freddie, for sure. So it was kind of, that's interesting. Thank you for the recommendation. It was interesting to kind of dive back into there. I didn't know what I was going to experience when I decided to go ahead and honor your recommendation there, as I usually do. I usually try to get to everybody's, but a little bit surprised, but then not. I mean, I liked it more than I thought I would. But it wasn't, they hadn't hit their peak yet, I don't think. But you can definitely feel what was to come. And they really, I mean, seriously, at that point, the very next album was A Night at the Opera, and, Death on Two Legs. And so Lazing on a Sunday Afternoon, kind of that burlesque kind of like sort of sound. And then I'm in Love with My Car. So there's that one, came right after that. So You're My Best Friend, huge hit. 39. I can't remember what that was, if that was a car song. Sweet Lady, Seaside Rendezvous, another one of those sort of burlesque type songs. A Prophet song, Love of My Life. That was a pretty big concert song too. I remember seeing him do that live. And then of course you've got Good Company, and then the big one, Bohemian Rhapsody, came off of that album. So to me, that is a tremendous leap from Sheer Heart Attack to that one. Just really no comparison in my book, but you can see the workings of Queen. Now Day at the Races, 76, Tie Your Mother Down. I must have played that song like 100 times in a cover bands when I was in high school. A young person played it. I played it from probably like the 10th grade all the way to like, I don't know, maybe like, probably like right out of high school. I don't think I played it too much after high school. You Take My Breath Away, Long Away, The Millionaire Waltz, You and I, Somebody to Love, huge radio hit. Good Old Fashioned Lover Boy, another one of those kind of songs. So yeah, lots of good songs there on that one. And then you got the big one, We Will Rock You, We Are the Champions, super cool. And then you got Sheer Heart Attack, which is funny. Is it the same song as that was on Sheer Heart Attack the album? I don't even remember. Let's hear.
Well, you're just
Okay, so I remember that. So then let's see, Sheer Heart Attack the album. It didn't even have a song called Sheer Heart Attack on it. It had Killer Queen. Yeah, so that's confusing. So that's probably led into some of my confusion too as a young child. But All Dead, such a great song. Spread Your Wings, a great song. Fight from the Inside, Get Down, Make Love, good one. Sleeping on the Sidewalk, Who Needs You, It's Late. And Melancholy Blues. Oh, so good. And that one, I remember having that one in my room when I was probably like 13 or something like that, and just playing it constantly. And then around 15 or so, I had Jazz, Mustafa, Fat Bottom Girls, Jealousy, Bicycle Races, If You Can't Beat 'Em, Join 'Em, Let Me Entertain You, Dead on Time. Yeah, some really great Dreamer's Ball. Some really just Don't Stop Me Now. Just great songs. And then let's just go, since we've gone through those 4 of my favorite 5, then we got The Game, which Play the Game. Dragon Attack, I said, was a great one for me, one of my favorites. Another one, Bites the Dust. Need Your Love Tonight. Crazy Little Thing Called Love, huge hit. We talked about it. Don't Try Suicide. Sail Away, Sweet Sister, beautiful song. Just, Save Me. Oh, there's a Dragon Attack bonus remix. I wonder what that sounds like. Super cool though. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I wonder if I should get into and put on Hot Space, and we should go through Hot Space and some of these other The Works. That had Radio Gaga on it. So I mean, it's just, I heard that song and then I just wasn't really interested in listening to the rest of the album. So I kind of left my Queen obsession. The Miracle. I think The Miracle was kind of the hit off of that. Was Invisible Man like a hit too? It might have been. I think it was. And then I don't know. Breakthrough's got a lot of plays on Spotify, but I don't know what that song is offhand. So yeah, just not familiar with some of these others. That's it though. I mean, thanks a lot for hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed the little tour through some of my Queen experience and listening to some songs that I hadn't really heard before. I had not heard before. I'd never heard those 3 songs, I don't think, ever. So interesting though to sort of put it all together and hear some early works that just before, like the year before I really got into them. So, but that huge leap though, I think to me that was, even in production quality and everything, big difference. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. I do appreciate you being here. If you enjoy the channel, please do me a favor and subscribe. Really would love it if you would subscribe and like the video and share if you would, comment. All those things help the channel to grow. Doesn't cost you anything. And I do like the engagement of your comments. So that's kind of for us, but also helps the algorithms and all that, just trying to move forward and grow the channel as we move on into the 3rd year of this channel. All right. Well, thank you so much. We'll see you guys in the next video and down in the comments. You guys have a great day. And thanks for hanging out while I kind of talked about Queen and some of my experiences with them and some of the music. And thanks for introducing me to some songs I never heard that I did enjoy. It was interesting. I really enjoy, these days I like kind of going back and seeing, things I missed and why did I miss them? What was I thinking at the time? I don't know. I don't remember. It was a long time ago for me. All right, guys. We'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.